When thinking about culturally responsive case conceptualization in EMDR, when working with clients who identify as Black and African American, we have to look beyond just symptoms alone. We have to make sure that we are intentionally centering culture, identity, and their lived experience. Here are 4 key things to help you do just that. Number 1, we have to acknowledge the impact of historical trauma and racial trauma. Many Black clients may carry traumas that are both personal and collectively rooted in experiences of racism, discrimination, and intergenerational stress. Culturally responsive case conceptualization includes assessing their lived experiences that shape the beliefs, how they see the world, the emotional responses, and even the nervous system functioning. Number 2, we have to maintain a posture of cultural humility and anti-racism. Cultural humility involves ongoing self-reflection and openness to learning from your client and also doing your own research of their lived experiences and that historical trauma. Having an anti-racist stance includes recognizing the power dynamics and naming differences within the cultural context when clinically appropriate. This allows you to actively work to counter biases that may show up in the therapeutic relationship. This approach will help strengthen the trust and connection and collaboration between you and your client. Number 3, it's important that you are using cultural and identity-based questionnaires. Standardized intakes often miss some of this critical context. So incorporating these questionnaires where you are asking about racial identity, cultural background, and their lived experiences can help you gain more understanding. This all leads to more effective treatment planning. Clinicians can often adapt some of the resourcing, the language that is used, and some of the imagery that is used to reflect meaningful strengths in community connections and ancestral resilience that deeply connect with your client. Together, these factors can help ensure that EMDR case conceptualization is not only clinically sound, but culturally responsive.
Hello, my name is Kionna Howell, and I am an EMDR therapist in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, home of the Steelers. When working with Black and African American clients, culturally responsive EMDR case conceptualization starts with understanding that trauma is not always linear and it does not always present the same way. And so before we even target memories, we have to look at the bigger context, historical trauma, racial stress, and the nervous system activation that comes with survival and racism. What sometimes can look like resistance is often actually protection. Another thing to note is that many Black and African American clients have learned to disconnect from their bodies in order to survive. That can look like being high functioning while being in a faux window of tolerance, or intellectualizing emotions instead of feeling them. A somatic nervous system approach helps restore choice and agency. When EMDR is responsive, clients feel safe enough to process their pain. It's about feeling seen, heard, and having a space where they don't have to pretend to be okay. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Hi, I'm Renata Hewitt, and a factor that I believe that is important when working with Black and African American clients and doing EMDR therapy is really taking time to do activities and interventions that really focus on building connection. Connection with these clients is crucial because they come from communities that have strong collectivistic cultural values and strong messages about trust and trusting systems, trusting mental health, trusting any type of supports outside of the home or the community. And when we can focus on connection, we help these clients bring down some of these defenses that they have been taught to have to protect themselves. Now, we're going to be asking these clients to identify experiences as traumatic. And some of those experiences that are traumatic, they have normalized for survival. And so we're going to be asking them to identify these things. And without that connection and that sense of safety, they are going to omit it. They're going to omit, they're going to leave targets out. And now we are trying to do a lot of work and we don't have all the pieces to the problem or pieces to the puzzle, per se. And so when we can really focus on connection and taking time to be very intentional about that connection piece, and really kind of thinking about this as a preparation in preparation phase 2 is building connection helps make sure that we have all of the pieces and that we're not missing any critical pieces to the story before the EMDR processing begins.
George Tabb, as I think about conceptualization for my Black and Brown clients, is really not taking things for granted, right? Because oftentimes it's easy to take for granted that I know because I'm African American and they're African American. And so just broaching the subject, inquiring and exploring, the client's life experiences. And then what about their culture is important to them? And recognizing that we don't have to agree. And recognizing that we're not a monolith. And just not taking for granted just because we're the same race or we're the same gender, or we maybe have similar experiences. And so ultimately, it's just creating that environment of safety and connectedness and empathy and curiosity.